The year before we were married, my husband and I spent the summer working in the Mennonite church camps in Saskatchewan. We had previously worked at Pike Lake and Camp Elam. That year was 1979, and it was the first camp held at Shekinah. I don't believe any one of us knew what to expect or were truly prepared for that first week. One thing that the girls in my tent did was to pull out blow dryers and curling irons when they arrived. The fine print that said no electricity had not been read. The trails have been added on to since that time, but they were already started. David Entz had worked on them the year before. We were amazed at that work. We tramped about in the woods daily. There was no dock, but we had canoes. As I had the tent with the oldest girls, and John had the tent with the oldest boys, the two groups spent time together. And one sunny day we canoed down the river to a sandbar. Simply that, canoeing and running on the sandbar. It was idyllic. We had the usual Bible study and crafts. As there was no storage room with craft supplies, we relied heavily on nature to make our art. By the end of the week, we all had something made from diamond willow. Our tents were set up on a similar area as the shanties were later to be placed, and once that week we spent a whole day in the tents when it rained. No dining hall to go to, so we played hearts and go fish and talked and talked and talked. A long, boring day, but I don't remember any complaints. The road down to the camp is not that different than it is now, except for one important thing, the amount of gravel that was on it. After that rain, it was a churned-up muddy mess, and difficult to maneuver for bringing food supplies down. The meals were very good, and it was not an easy place to prepare food. It was a small clearing with a large tarp anchored to trees. Edna Zacharias was the cook, and beneath that tarp she had a wood stove, counters that were boards set up on sawhorses, and some boxes of supplies set around. I don't know how, but she always had a smile on her face. The water that she used, and that we all used, came from a water tank set on a grain truck. A mere gropa was set up close by, and that was where the water was heated for all the washing up. It was an unusual, rustic camp setting, and we went into it hoping that we could make it all right for the campers that had signed up. It was clearly not what some of them had expected in the beginning. But at the end of the week, they were enthusiastic and unanimous in saying that it had been the best camp week ever. And we all felt that same way. Now our grandsons go to Shekinah for summer camp and winter fun. They came back telling us of floating down the river and going on the zip line, and of course, the trails that were already there for the first camp. Every year, they tell us it was the best week ever. I am hopeful that camp will be running this coming year for another best week ever. Merry Christmas from Denise and John Bartel.
Oh, by yo!